Welcome to the DNA Advantage podcast, where you can learn facts about your DNA that can help you live a healthier, longer life, doing all the activities you dream of doing. If you want to gain more control over your health and the factors that influence it, you're in the right place. Hi, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well today. Today, I just really wanted to talk about where we all are in our health journey. It's based on what we've experienced in our lives, what we've been doing and what's worked, what has happened to us, what we've observed, and what we've been taught. So, of course, it's going to be different for everyone. And depending upon where we are in our journey, we are sometimes rather fixed in our thought process and in what we are open to. And what I was trying to do was really identify what is serving us and help people navigate that and understand what is best for them at the time, because there is no one best place for everyone. It really is based on your own experience and your own needs. What I came up with was what I call the hierarchy of health. And I just want to run it past you because it can be valuable to give you perspective and understand where you are currently and whether or not that's serving you, and if it would be valuable for you to progress and move into another of the categories. So there's no judgment in where we are at the moment or where we want to be. It's truly just a matter of assessing ourselves and appreciating where we are and what we're currently experiencing. The first level is what I call treatment of symptoms. And it's where we're just really letting it ride. We're going from day to day. We're very distracted. We have other things that we have to be worrying about, which is true of all of us. But we're allowing for all of that to be our focus and not really thinking about what the status is of our health or what we could be doing to support or improve our health. The learnings that would lead us to that would be where we're brought up to just accept the way things are, go with the flow, wait until we're sick. Once we don't feel well or have a symptom, then we go to the doctor and get a prescription or a recommendation for over-the-counter medication, and then apply that and resume what we were doing. When it comes to that level, we are exposed to a lot of chemicals because when we're looking at over-the-counter and pharmaceutical drugs, they're all chemicals. So it's appreciating where we are, and we're acceptant of temporary relief and quick fixes. We're not expecting to have long-term improvement necessarily. And we are looking at things as just the way it is. I'm not a fan of this because I've witnessed in my family this happen. And what I've experienced, and I'm not imposing this on anyone else, but what I've experienced is that it results in a lot of quality of life sacrifice, and it can result in a lot of insecurities about what the future holds. So if we're waiting until we get sick and we're imposing temporary relief or quick fixes, unfortunately, that's kind of where we stand, is we are just waiting for things to go sideways and we're hoping for the best. And when something happens, then we just kind of cover it up and address the symptoms at that level. That's the first level of 4 levels in the hierarchy of health. The second level is symptom care with natural remedies. So we get to that point where we're caring for our symptoms. We've decided that we don't want to use over-the-counter remedies and we don't want to use pharmaceuticals when we can avoid that. So we're looking at the improvement, for sure, of eliminating the chemicals or at least minimizing the chemicals in our lives, but we're still focused on symptom relief. One remedy for one ill. I see it all the time where people call me and say, what can I do for this symptom? And unfortunately, it has taken me years to shift out of that because that's truly where I was brought up. But when we shift out of that mindset and we appreciate that that means we are just imposing a prescription of sorts, even though it's natural, on our bodies. We're not looking at what the root cause is. We're not looking at what is really functioning in our body or malfunctioning. We're just covering up the symptom. So that is still an improvement, again, because we're looking at reducing the chemical exposures and we're improving our mindset to a degree because we're looking at what our options are instead of just going to the doctor. But we want to make sure that we're giving ourselves every opportunity to move forward out of that level if that's not serving us, if that's not enough. So if you're there, good for you. And if you want more, let's move to the next step. The next level would be what I call natural care and discovery. And that approach is looking at how your body is responding to certain foods, activities, environmental factors, and using natural care to support balance. It is important to recognize how the body is improving or declining if we're doing something and we've made a change. And if we start paying attention to what's going on and we're not being prescriptive or trying to just cover up the symptoms, then we're at that next level of natural care and prevention. Because when we start to appreciate that we are having poor sleep, let's say, because we've changed something in our day, maybe we're drinking caffeine and we hadn't been drinking it before, or we're drinking it later, we're having 2 cups instead of 1. We have to start investigating, is it a lack of energy that's the reason I'm drinking more caffeine? Is it because I'm not getting enough sleep? Is it because I'm just mindlessly drinking caffeine and wanting to drink a latte with friends and I'm not paying attention to the time of day? When we're really introspective like that and we're appreciating what's contributing to our decisions, we make better decisions. We're actually looking at what is serving us instead of just going through the motions and accepting the consequences. And that's really what's important, is that we are becoming mindful, that we are looking at what our bodies are doing, how our bodies are responding. Again, there are so many different factors. It can be overwhelming. But if you take a moment and step back, documentation is very valuable. So in that moment of introspection, if you can start documenting, even if it's in your phone, you have a notes page, or if you have a planner, something that you can write in. I also have symptom tracking forms. If you want one, just comment below and I'll send you one. I like to keep it on one page, and that's why I made the symptom tracker, because you can do a comparison. When you make a change, you can look at how that affected you. And over time, you might even start to see if something is moving in a positive direction or negative direction, or if you see that there is a trend and you see that every Sunday you have this particular issue, or there's a pattern. And when you start to see a pattern, you can appreciate where that's coming from and backtrack and look at what the behaviors are that are contributing to the outcome. I know it sounds a little bit like a science project, but we are. We don't know what our bodies need in a lot of cases. And that's why that natural care and prevention level is really valuable, because we start to understand and we start to appreciate what the needs are of our bodies. And they change. The needs as we age, as we grow, as we have different demands on the body, our needs change. And that's something that we need to appreciate as well. It's a process of discovery and observation. We aren't going to discover where we are in this process and stop paying attention. We need to continue to pay attention and appreciate how things are changing and how we're growing as individuals, how we're improving our mindset, our beliefs, and our behaviors, and then we're able to see what's paying off. The next level I have great appreciation for, because it took me a long time to get there, to really be in that DNA discovery level. Let me compare the two, because when we're looking at natural care and discovery, we're not using a lot of chemicals. We're looking at what the body needs and really listening to our bodies, paying attention to symptoms, and understanding better what our bodies need. With DNA discovery, we're doing all of that, but we're also using our DNA, our family history, our personal health history, and our current symptoms and goals to really make strategic moves toward better health. It can be that we want to maintain our health, where we feel very satisfied with where we are and we're maintaining, and we don't want to decline as we age, because the reality is, as we age, some of our functions do lessen in efficiency. We don't want to allow that to happen and affect our health, affect our mobility, and limit us in the quality of life. Knowing our DNA, we can appreciate more of root cause and really understand the intricacies of what's contributing to better health and what may be drawing us down. It can be a complete game changer. It does take some time to go through, because when we're looking at how our bodies are responding to nutrition, as an example, nutrition is very complex. We get nutrients from all different foods. We eat all different combinations of foods. We don't isolate a food necessarily and only eat that for days to really see how it's affecting us. We typically eat foods in many different combinations, even in the same day. So it's very difficult to gauge what is affecting our digestive health or our energy. And not only can we not isolate things in that way to be very scientific, we also don't know, at the third level of natural care, we don't know what our body's capability is of utilizing those nutrients. So even at that higher level, we're guessing what is serving us, what we should be eating, what workouts we should be doing. We can tell how our body is responding, and we can have an appreciation for gaining muscle, losing weight, getting better sleep. Those are external indicators for sure that we're on the right track. Where I really love the DNA discovery level and the differences that that offers is that we don't have to wait for an indicator or a symptom or a disease to kick us into gear. We can look at our DNA and we can dissect it, if you will, look at certain concerns that we might have, look at certain functions that we know we want to improve or we want to optimize, and we can zoom in on the DNA and the genetics that are specific to that and learn what our efficiencies are in our body. Very unique to us. It's not a one-for-one situation. It's not looking at one gene and understanding that our body is working in a very specific way. They are contributing to the system and how the system works. And when we can appreciate that, we know better strategies to support our bodies and to give our bodies exactly what we need. It can be the difference between getting a disease and not. It can be the difference between getting injured and not being injured. Because if we have the right level of omega-3 in our bodies and enough hydration, and we get hit in the head playing sports, that may be the difference between getting a concussion and not getting a concussion. especially when we look at our genetics and appreciate how our bodies are functioning, how well we retain DHA, how well we process our hydration. It's amazing how many things we can do when it comes to knowing our bodies. We can prevent illness, we can prevent disease, we can prevent injuries. I'm not saying all the time. There are no guarantees, and we can't know everything about our bodies. But what I'm proposing is that we know more and more as we feel more comfortable. So I'll review the levels of what I call the hierarchy of health, looking at treatment of symptoms, over-the-counter prescriptions, addressing symptoms when they occur, and just kind of letting health fall where it may. Not necessarily having a strategy, but allowing for our health to meander in the direction that it goes. Symptom care with natural remedies is more about addressing symptoms and looking at what our bodies are currently presenting us with and being able to give some natural therapies instead of medication, but still looking at it as a symptom relief situation. We're looking at what is our body telling us, and now what can we do to cover it up or to address that, but not really looking at root cause. Natural care and prevention is getting closer to root cause because we're really listening to our bodies. We're getting a sense of where this is coming from. If we start having sleep issues, where is it coming from? What has changed? What am I doing? Let's start documenting, paying attention to all of those finer details to have a better understanding of what that contribution is and how we might be able to manage it. And then the highest level is DNA discovery, where we're doing all of that observation of our bodies and we're understanding better what is contributing to our health or our decline if we're having certain symptoms. But the next step in that is that DNA discovery and what we're looking at for root cause. What is the body's capability of detoxifying, healing, maintaining good joints and joint mobility? So many different things are contributing to joint health. So many different things are contributing to inflammation, which can contribute to joint health or affect joint health. We want to be able to understand all of the different contributors, and to best understand the facts about our bodies is looking at our DNA. So when you look at these 4 different levels and you think about where you are currently functioning, if you're happy with that, that's great. If you see an opportunity in maybe that next level above, that's fantastic. If you need any support, let me know. You can comment below. We can have a conversation in the chat. We can talk about different tools that you might need or resources that could be helpful. But understanding our bodies is the key to maintaining or improving our health and preventing disease. There's no way of doing that if we don't understand our bodies and we don't appreciate where we want to go with our health. I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions, please comment, and you can certainly contact me, and I hope to see you next week. Thanks so much for joining me to learn about DNA health. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a review. If you'd like to join my free community where we delve into more details about DNA, just click Community below.